All right, you know what time it is, baby. It is 5-star matchups time. And man, let's get right into this thing because we got another very, very good opportunity for the Steelers to get a dub this weekend, and we're going to need them to take care of business. So, first thing we need to do is hit that like button because we like the Steelers and we like everybody in this video to win their matchup. So, support it, baby. Hit that like, subscribe for the culture. Now, first matchup we're going to talk about is Dan Moore versus Brian Burns. Now, with Dan Moore, he's had a season where he's been improving at times, but we know the consistency hasn't always been there. Sometimes he's looked really good. At times we know he's struggled, in particular with some of the more dynamic pass rushers. And when we look at a Brian Burns, he's definitely one of those caliber guys, a guy that can win his one-on-one, a high pedigree guy, a guy that currently has 10.5 sacks. But this is, one of those ones where Dan Moore is still good enough to compete with the Brian Burns. He's still good enough to win enough of these matchups where Brian won't be able to just take over a game. And that is the thing that we cannot allow to happen in this particular matchup right here, because both of these two teams are very evenly matched, and turnovers are, going to be one of those things that could be the backbreaker for whichever one of these teams commit that in. For Dan Moore, you don't want it to be because of a strip sack due to Brian Burns. So that's what we got to start on with that matchup, baby. Now, the second matchup, I'm excited about even more so because this is two young, talented guys on offense versus two young, talented guys on defense. I'm talking the 2v2, George Pickens and Deontay Johnson versus J.C. Horn and C.J. Henderson. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this matchup specifically is worth the price of admission. Because, man, we know who George Pickens is, man, and what he's developing into. This guy has big play, all-world potential written all over him. We saw him last week against Baltimore, more in particular, versus Marlon Humphrey, and some of the success that he was able to generate in that matchup. We know who Marlon Humphrey is. But then you also look at Deontay Johnson, what he was able to do last week as well. Both of these guys are feeling very confident in their ability to win one-on-ones and just make big-time field-flipping plays. But on the flip side, when you look at J.C. Horn and C.J. Henderson, these are both two high pedigree guys, two guys that, throughout the times of just the past couple of years, we've looked at potentially trying to acquire one of these guys, man. And when you look at them, they are, just as talented as you would want in terms of being able to play man-to-man. They have really good size, can tackle. I love their ball skills, though. That's the thing that separates them from other guys. They play the football. And when you're watching them, it's a matchup where you're going to have some success on it, but at the same time, all it takes is one or two for them, and that's the difference when you're talking about this particular matchup. For George Pickens and Deontay Johnson, not only do I think they're going to have some success, but they're also going to have to be able to account for whoever is at quarterback. Wherever that ball is placed, they got to make the play on it or not allow JC or CJ to make those plays on the football, because a turnover in this matchup kills you. And JC and CJ Henderson are two really good dynamic corners that really do a good job of creating turnovers. So it's going to be important for us to win this matchup as well. But now it's time for that third matchup. And I'm really excited about this one because now things start to go from difficult to competitive to now this should be slanted in our favor here. And I'm talking about Pat Freiermuth versus the Sam linebacker for the Carolina Panthers, Frankie Luvu. Now, with Frankie, man, he is a really good player, rangy guy. And they like to keep him on the field for third downs as well, man, with some of their sub-package ball. And he does have some success in coverage. I think he's a very smart player. I think that he's a very physical player at times. But to me, when I watch him versus Pat Freiermuth, who is currently our leading receiver, who is on a Pro Bowl caliber trajectory right now, who is continuing to stack consistent performance upon consistent performance upon consistent performance, this is one of those ones where I look at Pat and I say, man, this guy can't guard you, period. So when we are in our base defense specifically, the same way we talk about some of the nastiness of our base defense, man, case in point, you put a wide receiver where the tight end's supposed to be versus our defense, you're going to get that wide receiver on a linebacker. We know this. If you got two receivers to one side, if you take the really good receiver and put him in the slot, well, hey, man, he's going to match up against the nickel corner. We don't flip-flop our dudes. We are very consistent in that way, right? And it sucks at times. Well, for Carolina, they are similar, man. When they're in their base defense, they don't try to dress it up. They walk that Sam linebacker around wherever the tight end is going to. And if they're going to do that with the coverages that they like to play, which are cover 3 and cover 1, yeah, Pat has to dominate this because this guy cannot guard Pat Freiermuth one-on-one. Can't happen. So to me, man, this is one of those ones where I feel really good about it for us. I think that Pat should feel really good about it himself. And I'm excited to watch us take advantage of this matchup right here. But now it's time for the 4th matchup. And this is where we get a little fun with it, all right? Because we got to talk about whoever is still a starting quarterback come Sunday. Is it KP8 making a return from the concussion protocol? Is it Mitch Trubisky trying to rectify the 3 wrongs from last week? Or is it Mason Rudolph, the forgotten child, the one that's coming back to prove he was truly treated unfairly? But whoever it is at quarterback, maybe it's Zach Gentry, who knows, right? Who knows? But whoever we put out there, this is them versus Sam Darnold, and more specifically, the turnover battle. Whoever we have at quarterback, they cannot lose the turnover battle to Sam Darnold. I don't care about anything else that's going on with the running backs fumbling, if that happens, which it should not. Receivers fumbling, which it should not. I don't care about any of that. We cannot lose the turnover battle to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, streaky, talented, but not consistent at all. He still struggles with reading coverage. He still struggles with his accuracy at times. He still struggles with just making good decisions. And when he makes those bad decisions, we have to capitalize. But more importantly, our quarterbacks also, whoever they are going out there, they can't make stupid decisions. We highlighted last week and how ultimately the difference was 3 interceptions. As bad as we were against the run, as more physical as Baltimore was, we don't turn the ball over 3 times, we win that game going away. It is that simple. And it will be a similar concept this week. Do not lose this turnover battle. Sam Darnold's going to give us some opportunities. We cannot return the favor. And that's the thing that I'm going to be most excited to watch with whoever is at quarterback for us on Sunday. And now it's time for that 5th and final 5-star matchup, and this is the one that I'm most excited about because I'm calling on one of my favorite young pass rushers. Alex Highsmith, baby, it's your time. We need you. We know it's the homecoming game. You going back to the spot that made you famous. Let's get it. Let's get it. And you're going against Ikem Ekwonu. And Ekwonu, man, is one of them dudes that, a couple of years ago, we were excited about him. Potentially drafting him, man, because we know how good he can be and what he could do in terms of upgrading your line of scrimmage. And he is doing that at times in Carolina. 100% he is. But at the same time, he's still a young player and he's not as consistent as he needs to be at times. More particularly, you watched the matchup against Bruce Irvin a week ago, man. Bruce was really giving him some issues. And Bruce is a good player, man, doing this for a long time. But at this stage in his career, I personally feel like Alex Highsmith is further along in terms of being a pass rusher now. I think that he's the better player. And I just feel like, man, with Alex, man, the speed that he possesses, the spin move that he uses as a counter off of that speed is going to give Ekwonu really some challenges, man. And that's the part for me where if you can get this matchup, if this is the one where you can get a sack or 2 off of him, that changes the whole dynamic because he is definitely their best offensive lineman. And the rest of it goes downhill for them from there. So we need you. We need this win right here, Alex Highsmith, because we understand that, man, everybody else across the line of scrimmage might be a little bit banged up, leaking a little bit oil or just, getting a little bit older. But Highsmith, this has to be the one, man. And I'm excited to see him work, man, because he is on a tear in his own regard, man. 10+ sacks, man. He's officially a part of that double-digit sack club. Shout out to him. But yeah, man, this is one of those ones where you really get a chance to stamp who you've become, to put a stamp on the type of player that you are. And we can anticipate being able to rely on going forward from you, man. So, like I said, definitely excited about this one, but we have got to have it, baby. So, those are my 5-star matchups for the Steelers versus Panthers game come Sunday. But you let me know your thoughts on these 5 particular matchups. And also, if there's a particular matchup that you might be thinking about, drop it in the comment section. But either way, I appreciate you for tuning in. And until next time, baby, peace.